Hello, welcome to Crafting with the Crafty Chick. Thank you for coming to craft with me today. I think you'll have a lot of fun with this project. We are casing out of our celebration catalog, and it's on page 3. So it's this little box that we have up here. So we are casing this, and I do have several tips to share with you on this project, so stay tuned. So these little boxes are quite very sturdy, very durable, heavy duty, and so they're slider boxes. So you just pull the box out and you can fill it with, I mean, this is a nice size. You can fit a gift card, candy, you know, any number of little things will fit. And so just to show you, I have a gift card here. And so, and you still have a little room in there, so that really fits in there nicely. So many ideas for what to put in this box. So Stampin' Up! Does carry these. These boxes are part of our mini catalog, which goes from January to June. And I'm going to show you where they are in the catalog, and I will show you how to assemble and put one together. It'll be kind of tricky. So we are casing this. I have changed a couple of little things, and one of the things I've changed was on their white oval here, they actually used a DSP. We're not going to do that. We just use regular Whisper White. And then just to tie in with the stitching theme, I bought in an oval die from the Stitch Shapes frameless die. And then their tag has a sentiment, "You are amazing." And the one that I did was a little something just for you. And I will show you what stamp set that is from. Okay, so I'm going to put this away and just show you guys a few things here. So these treat boxes are in our mini catalog. The January to June 2021. And it's on page 11, and it's these Love You Always treat boxes. So you get 10 boxes for $9. So that's the treat box that we're using on that. And then this ribbon here, this navy blue denim ribbon, actually has the feel of denim, like blue jean material. And that is in our annual catalog on page 160. And it is a 3/8 of an inch denim ribbon. And you get 10 yards for $7. So that's this ribbon here that we are using. I'll go ahead and put the catalog to the side. Okay, and then, so I'm bringing in, I will show you the products that I used to create this today. And again, we are casing this from the celebration catalog. So here's that sentiment, a little something for you, just for you. It's from Fancy Phrases, and this is in our annual catalog. I love the variety of the sentiments in this stamp set. And then the white oval die is from Stitch Shape Frameless. So this is one of my very well used frameless dies because they all have that stitching, and there's ovals, there's circles, and then there's squares. So I use these a ton. Okay. So I use that just to carry that stitching throughout. And then the flowers and the leaves are made using the Pierced Blooms dies. I've used these a lot too. So the leaves are, there's actually 2 different shapes. So we have this leaf shape here and this one. This one's just a little bit longer, and I have incorporated both of those on this project here. This one's a longer leaf and this one's a shorter leaf. And then the flowers, so there's 3 different ones that we used. So the dark navy blue, this one is this die right here. And then we used a lighter blue, and that's these, which will die cut 2 out at a time. So great for if you have a lot to make. And then the tiny petal pink flower in the center here is from this die. You can die cut 3 of those out at a time. So that's what we're using on our project today. And this was a lot of fun to make and put together. The boxes, however, can be a little tricky first time around. There's no instruction to come with them, and so that's why I'm going to show you how to assemble them. before we get into that, I just want to take a few minutes and share a few things with you. So, just as a small thank you gift, for you guys should have your monthly kits by now, and I did include a gift in there, which is these wonderful blending brushes from Stampin' Up. I am in love with these brushes. Oh my gosh, they're so soft, and there's just hundreds, thousands of bristles in these brushes. Really like these brushes. I know there's other brushes you can get like on Amazon and other companies, so I don't have a comparison, but I'm really thinking I'm sticking with Stampin' Up. So we're hoping that they have these in the next annual catalog to be released in June. Fingers crossed. Okay, so I'm going to demo how to use this today because it's what I used on these flowers. So I will explain. So in the Celebration catalog, the flowers that they did was actually die cut out of these Paper Blooms DSP. So there is a sheet that is nothing but circles on the back. And so this is what they did. I did not have enough of this DSP to cut because there's, I think, 2 or 3 night of navy blue circles on the sheet of paper. So when you're doing 3 flowers on one project, I didn't have enough for my monthly kit distribution. So I decided to improvise, and what I did was made my own using the blending brush. So I'm going to show you guys that here in a minute. I did on the leaves, I did do what they did here, which is took advantage of the green circles on the back and die cut all of my leaves out. And I want to show you there's actually, to maximize your DSP, I'm going to pull in a few pieces here. So as you can see, so on the other side of this DSP is what we used for our wraps on our box. So you get a lot of use out of this DSP. I'm just thankful I had enough because I needed to have enough for my wraps for the boxes, in addition to be able to use them for my flowers as well. So I'm going to pull this one in, and I just want to show you. So as you guys can see, I have really taken advantage of a whole circle and tried to get as many leaves as I could. So if you look here, maybe this one. So you can see we have a wider leaf, and then here is our longer leaf. And so it really just, ahead of time, before you die cut, play around and position your leaf to see how you can maximize that circle and get as many as you possibly can. And same thing with the flowers. So as you can see, here's the night of navy. You really can only get 1 flower of that size out of each circle. And then on this one, you get 3 leaves, so 2 of the longer, skinnier leaves, and then 1 of those shorter, wider leaves out of each one of this size green circles. And then I was able to get, because that die is 2 on 1, and get 4 of the light blue out of each circle. Okay, and then the same thing here with the die that cuts out the petal pink flowers, because there's 3 on 1 die, and so just try to maximize the circle there as well. So just FYI, if you have this DSP and you want to die cut with the Pierce Blooms dies, just kind of play around and really take advantage of as much as you can to maximize your DSP. Okay? So I also want to bring this back in because I want to show. So I don't know if my camera can pick this up, but this night of navies, so night of navy is a nice, beautiful dark blue. However, and I forgot to set my flowers that I die cut out of this aside to show you a comparison, but when I found out that when I took these die cut flowers and actually placed them on top of my box, my opinion, for my liking, they were more of a dark blue purplish color and really didn't match with the wrap of this DSP. But that's just me. I wanted something a little bit more closer to the color that was actually on the DSP. And so that is also what prompted me, in addition to not having enough of these night of navy blue circles on this DSP, that's also what prompted me to try using the blending brush and making my own. And so that is exactly what I did. So as you can see here, so this is a piece of Whisper White that I actually started on a piece of scratch paper before I started this, just to get a good feel of the brush, because some brushes you have to apply more pressure, you know, depending on the shade that you're trying to accomplish. You want a lighter shade or a darker shade. And so as you can see here, where I have a lighter color here and leaving some of that white to show through, and then you can see areas where it's a lot darker. And so you can control the intensity of the color by going over it multiple times if you're trying to achieve a darker color. So I'm going to show you guys how to do that today. And as you can see, on this piece of paper I was able to cut out all of my flowers that I needed in rows of 3 and have varying shades of that blue. And you can go, just remember, start off light and slow, because you can always add more, but you can't subtract any color. So we're going to go ahead and get started, and I'm going to bring in my scrap paper. See here. Okay, I'll move this out of the way. These papers are great. I use these all the time. Okay, so you have Night of Navy ink pad. Now these brushes here, they have a really nice handle to grip onto down here at the bottom. However, up here they get quite a bit skinnier, and so this could be, you don't want to push too hard, that could be a weak point. So what I found was I just kind of hold it here with my thumb, and I push down just at the base of the head there, so as not to put any pressure on this part of the handle, because I don't want that to break. And you're going to find what works for you, but I just go in circular motions with my brush, and you want to take care not to push too hard, because you don't want to make your bristles kind of, you know, start spreading out. And so I'm just going to come in. I start off on my scrap paper here really lightly and slowly, and just come in on your Whisper White or your basic white, and just go in circular motion. So I don't know if you can see, this is a very, very light color that we've got on here now. And so I'm going to come back in with my blending brush, circular motion on my ink pad, and start over here, and then come back in to my paper. I'm just applying light pressure. I'm not pushing down very hard, because I think if you push down too hard, then what you're going to end up with is you're going to get, sometimes you'll have that whatever direction you were going will actually show up in your design on your paper. And so I'm just coming back in and just blending, and it just blends so beautifully. This would be great to do to make a sky background. Okay, so now we've got some fairly light blue color going on there. And so I'm going to come in and just make a couple areas a little bit darker now. And I'm applying just a little bit more pressure just to help get that ink transferred to the paper. So as you can see, the contrast, the difference now. And you just keep going over and over and over until you get the color that you're looking for. When I did the flowers for this project, I started off just a base, and then I went back and added some more darker colors in some areas, just to have the variation in the hues of the blue on the flowers instead of just being one solid color throughout. Okay, so I just wanted to show you guys that really quick here. And it really doesn't take that long to cover an area. So you can make a whole sheet, any color you want, to make whatever colors, flowers that you want for any project. That's the nice thing. Now I have been asked a couple of questions about, well, how can you clean these? Well, I got a tip from one of my crafters who said she just uses baby wipes to clean them off, and then that way the ink doesn't transfer. I know a couple of demos have multiple brushes for multiple colors. And I think it's Patty Bennett who, PattyStamps.com, she has one for like every color family. So one brush for all of her red colors, one brush for her greens, and so on. So, okay, so that is, I mean, and you just really play with it. And you will eventually become comfortable and know what works for you. And somebody else did say use Dawn dish soap to take that off. I've not tried that. I've only used it on my Night of Navy. So I'm going to have to try the baby wipes and the Dawn dish soap and see what works. Okay, so you have an idea for blending. And now I'm going to come back in with the box and show you guys how to put together your box. And so they come in a pack of, I think I already said 10, and this is how they come when you order them from Stampin' Up. Let me pull out, these are my, just to save time, I've already done my die cutting and everything ahead of time. So this is what it looks like when you get it in your order. And this is a really nice sturdy chipboard. Save that because you can do a lot with that. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and open the box up so you guys can see. I'll turn this around. I might need to pull my camera up just a little bit. That way you guys can see the whole box. Sorry if that motion was making you dizzy there. Okay, so up at the top, you have a shorter tab with angled sides there, and then at the bottom you have more of a longer square, almost rectangular, and it has a little tab at the end. So what we're going to do is there's multiple score lines, okay? One side has more of a smoother texture, and the inside is still smooth, but it's just a little bit of a rougher texture. You can pick or choose, but I like to that my score lines are not raised, but they're the other way, and so I actually like those to be facing up, but you can do either direction. And so you're going to need your bone folder, and we're going to start with these side tabs first. So I'm going to rotate this around, and so you should have 4 side tabs here, and I'm going to bring these toward me and go over them with my bone folder, and we're going to do the same thing on this side, going away from you, and bring those that way, and go over them with the bone folder. Okay, and then this one has several score lines, so there's going to be a tab. Let me turn this over. I don't know if my camera can pick this up, but we have a score line here, a score line here, and a score line here. So we're going to go ahead and do those score lines. So taking the one facing you, you're going to go and fold it up the opposite direction from you. And go over it with your bone folder and do that for all 3 score lines on this tab piece. Okay, and now I'm going to rotate my box, and we're going to do the other side there. And same thing, we have 3 score lines. And so fold away from you, go over it with your bone folder, and do that for all 3 score lines on that tab. Okay, and now I'm going to rotate my box so that my angle corners are facing up. On this bottom piece down here, we have 2 score lines, so I'm going to take this and fold it away from me, and this is the part that has that little tab at the end. And go ahead and fold that score line, go over that with your bone folder, and then you've got one more. Do the same thing. Okay, and I'm going to turn this around so that my angle cuts are facing me. And we have 2 score lines. Now, on this piece, I don't know if my camera can pick it up, there is a slot or a slit there. And so I will explain what that is for. Just be careful when you are pushing that score line down. Okay, and then we have one more, two more score lines, sorry. There's two, and then one more going in. Okay, so now all of your score lines have been really sharpened now. So I'm going to take my box and rotate it back so that the angle corners are facing up. And so the first part we want to do is we're going to take, let me see, okay, and you will need a mono glue or a super sticky high tack adhesive for your wrap, to put the wrap on. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is the part that has the 4 side tabs, I'm going to bring that in, and I'm going to take this piece here, so you have this bigger square, almost rectangular, and then a skinny rectangle, and I'm going to bend that back facing me. So now you'll be able to see a little bit inside of what I'm doing. And so I'm going to take these side tabs and bring that in, and I'm going to take this and bend it back. And that's just so you guys can see what you're doing. It's just to help. It just helps. So now, and this is where it gets a little tricky. It's like we almost need more hands to do that. I'm bringing these 4 tabs inward, and now I'm going to rotate my box this way because it makes the next step a lot easier. And you can do just one side at a time if you want. But now I'm bringing the side tab and bringing it away from me. Okay, and you want to hold that side tab in. Now, this little tab that's on the end, that is going to go down and in. So I'm going to bring this closer to the camera so now you can see where that tab is. That is going to help hold it in place. It's not so much right now, but you'll see it'll make sense here in a minute. So we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So bringing my tabs in, bring that down, and then you want that tab to fold out against the side of your box, okay? So now what we're going to do is I'm going to bring this back around. Just remember, these won't stay, and we do not need to glue those down because I'm going to show you this is really cool. So now the next part is we're going to take this one that has our angle corners. So you need to hold these down, and you're going to bring this in, and that tab is going to lay flat. So I'm going to go ahead and bring that, and this is one that has a slit in it. And so what that's going to do is now hold these 2 side ones into place. So now you don't even have to hold them. Okay? So you have that slit now, and this little tab here is going to go right in that slit. So now we're going to take this part. We have a score line here. That needs to go in and on the side flush with this part of your box. And that little tab is going to just click right into that slit. And now it is in place. So just push down on all your pieces and make sure, and that is how you put these together. Super fun, no adhesive, no glue necessary. It all is held together in place. Okay, so it took me a couple of tries because I kept wanting to put that slit through that hole, and I'm like, it's not the right size for the box. And so then I played with it. 3rd time was the charm. It's like, oh, I got it. Anyway, okay, so that is the box part. And then we have, I'm looking for, I'm missing a piece. So I thought, oh, here it is. Okay. So now, and these also come, and this is along with your boxes in when you order these. So all of your boxes are laid out, and then these are on top, and these are what is our sleeve, basically, and all of our score lines are there. And so what I'm going to do is to open this up. So there's a score line that goes right along here. I'm going to just open this up, and so you're going to see I'm pushing kind of getting that into shape. You see how I did that? And you really don't have to do anything else because now this is ready to go. So all we have to do is decorate. And so now you have your sleeve. And so what I like to do to open these, some people want to punch a notch with like a 1/2-inch circle punch or whatever size just to be able to pull that out. But I just reach in there and just pull. Okay? So now there is our treat box. Now I did contemplate taking our wrap and figuring out the score line. We don't need to do that because I'm going to show you a much easier way. You will need a high tack adhesive or your mono glue. And so what I'm going to do is flip my box over. You want to make sure it's on the bottom. And I'm going to just take some mono glue and run it right along the side here. And so what I'm going to do is take my box, follow my grid line here, right in about the center of the box, because that's where I want the seams to line up. And I'm just going to hold that there for a minute. You do want to leave a white border on both the top and the end of your box to show through. Okay, and then this is what I like to call, and I think other people call it that too, is you're going to just walk your DSP up along your box. And so what that's doing is you are keeping it tight against the box, and then where you've got an edge, you want to take your DSP and crease it along that edge. And you want to just keep on going, just keep walking it across your box. Remember to leave a white border on each end. And I'm going to go ahead and crease that along there. Sometimes, I mean, we could come out and figure out what the score lines are, but this is just so much easier. Because sometimes even if you have the score line, they may not line up in the right place against the edge of the box. So it's just easier to do it this way. And so now we're back at the bottom of our box with our seam. So what I'm going to do now, and you could glue this if you wanted to. I didn't. I just did this part and then secured it that way. But you have to remember, so where you just made that score line against the edge of that box, you only want to put your glue on the other side of that and don't go over unless you want to glue the whole thing. Okay, I'm going to walk this up my box. I'm just pushing down and it will line up here. I want to make sure that they are lined up. There we go. And hold that down for just a moment. You want to make sure that that is adhered well. Okay, and there we have the beginning of our box. And you turn your box up the other way and make sure you've got it opened up. Okay, so now this is the fun part. We get to decorate. It's always the fun part. So like I said, just to save time, I went ahead and did these ahead of time. That reminds me, the wrap sizes. So I know there's some demos that did wraps at 4 inches. I wanted a little bit more of that white to show through. So my wrap, I did it 3 7/8 by 9 1/2. And I mean, that just works out great size-wise for me. If you wanted a little bit more coverage, then yeah, you can go 4 inches if you wanted to cover up more of that white. Okay, so I'm taking out all my pieces here. And you want to make sure when you take out your flower die-cut pieces, it's very easy to lose these little pieces if you've got a bunch of them. So, okay. So what I'm going to do is I recommend you separate your leaves because like I said, we have 2 different sizes and you're going to have 3 of each size. So mine got kind of cut off, but it's okay because it's going to get covered up. So you're going to have 3 of the longer, skinnier leaves, and then you're going to have 3 of the wider, shorter leaves. And then you're going to have 3 of the lighter blue flowers and 3 of these. So as you can see, I've left, see if my camera can pick this up. You can see where I have a lighter blue and then where I got darker in the middle. And so it's just a nice variety instead of having just one solid monotone color. Okay. And the first thing we're going to do is you will need your piercing mat and your Take Your Pick tool if you have it. If you don't have a Take Your Pick tool, you can use like the end cap lid from a ballpoint pen. It just has to be kind of pointy. And if you have these scissors, you can probably even use the tip of that as well. Okay, so now I'm bringing in my piercing mat and my Take Your Pick tool. So this putty part from our Take Your Pick tool, the lid, you can use that to okay, I think my camera went off. Let me see if it's coming back in. Hang tight with me, guys. Sorry. Come on. I'm not seeing any movement here. So if you guys can still hear me, I was saying the Take Your Pick tool on the end where your putty part is, that is the end that we're going to use to push in our flowers. Okay, what's going on here? Camera, come on. Maybe it'll come back here in a minute. I think it did this like once before. Come on, I'm just looking here to see what I can do. There we go, looks like I'm back. Okay, sorry about that little blip there, I'm not sure what happened. Alright, so I have my piercing mat and my blue flowers now. And so I'm going to go ahead and just show you the putty end of my Take Your Pick tool. I'm going to go right in the center of that flower and just kind of push and twist. And so as you can see, what that's doing is just pushing the center of that flower down and lifting the petals up. So let's see if you can see. So see, it has a lot more just lifted. And so I'm doing that for all three. And like I said, if you don't have a Take Your Pick tool, you can use any, you know, even these scissors would work. Just something that would make those petals lift up. Okay, and then I'm bringing in the light blue flowers. And we're going to do the same thing with that. Just push down. You don't have to twist on these. These are a lot smaller. Okay. And then I'm going to bring in my Petal Pink small flowers. And we don't need to push those in. Okay, and then mono glue. So what I do is I just put a dot of mono glue inside each of these blue dark navy flowers. And then you can use your putty part from your Take Your Pick tool, pick up your light blue flower, and place that inside. And you can offset your petals, so if you didn't want them to be facing the same direction as your Night of Navy, you can absolutely do that. Whatever looks good to you. I'm just going to hold that there for a minute. You want to make sure that that really gets adhered down there. Okay, and I love this tool for, you can pick up things so much easier. So this one I'm actually going to have facing the same direction as my Night of Navy flowers. And just make sure that holds. And then same thing with this one. And this putty tip is great for picking up small things, sequins and small flowers or any small pieces you have. It works great for that. Okay, so now I'm going to come back in with my glue and just put a little dab of glue, I can't talk today, inside the light blue flowers for our Petal Pink flowers to go in. Just hold that in place so we get that adhesion going there. And the sentiment that they use for this project in the Celebration catalog, I do not have that stamp set. I think it's the one that coordinates with the Pierced Bloom dies. But I wanted this to be versatile and a little something just for you. That way you can give it for a just because, or hey, I'm thinking of you, here's a little surprise, or a birthday, or a special occasion. I didn't want it to be limited to its application on what you could do with it. Okay, and one more flower and we are done with this part. And you will need dimensionals. You're going to use quite a few dimensionals for this one. Okay, now we're getting that going. So now we have our flowers done. And I think my camera went back out again. Yeah, technology. Okay, so I'm just kind of pushing my finger over my flowers just to make sure that those petal pink ones are adhered down. And we're going to go ahead and get rid of the piercing mat because we don't need that now. Okay. So now here comes the fun part, and I'm still waiting. See, I look at my screen, and it's like frozen of me putting that last petal pink flower on here, so I'm just waiting for it to come back. I don't know if you guys can see what I'm doing. So, just make sure we are plugged in here. Let me double check and make sure my laptop is plugged in. I'll be right back. Hang tight. Okay. Okay, I think we're all right there. Let me just see. There we go. We're coming back now. Okay. Alright, sorry about that if you couldn't see me. So we are back on track now. Alright, so then the next thing I like to do is actually attach our Whisper White stitched shape die. And so I did mine at an angle. Now, you have two options. You can either go ahead and decorate this part and attach it to your box, or you can do the ribbon on your box first. This is such a nice ribbon. I really like how this ties so beautifully. So I'm just going to show you really quick here. We're going to tie this and then we're going to make a bow right toward the end of our box here. Get my ribbon to go the way I want it to. Pull in. So you can do that and then attach this. It's really up to you. So since I already have this on here, but these tails bug me, so I'm going to redo that. It's got to look good. I'm sure anybody you gave this to would say, oh, this is beautiful, and wouldn't see any flaws in it. But, you know, as crafters, we have a certain standard that we want things to look a certain way, right? Please tell me. I'm not the only one. Okay. So now I have my bow there, and so that kind of gives me more of an idea of where I can place my flowers. Okay? And you don't have to do this part. It's just to kind of give you a visual of where everything's going to fall in place. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is, this is popped up with dimensionals, so we're going to bring dimensionals in now. And paper piercer. Actually, I could use my Take Your Pick tool, has my paper piercer on it. So we're going to go ahead and put dimensionals on the back of our oval here. And we will need the mini dimensionals as well. So I'm using both the regular size and the minis. I'm going to go ahead and peel the backing off. Okay, and then I'm going to kind of just rotate it a little bit and kind of up against where my ribbon is, because I do want to have my sentiment piece kind of angled right to the edge of the side of the box. I hope you guys can see that. So when I go to put this on, because if I want to stick this in a gift bag or something, I don't want this edge to constantly be getting beat up or curled or... Okay, so get rid of these dimensional backings here. Alright, and so now we're going to put dimensionals on the back of our Night of Navy flowers. And this one you want to use mini dimensionals for. And I just put it right in the center of each one. Okay, and then coming back to our leaves really quick, because this is kind of a, you want to assemble these kind of together. So remember, you have your smaller, wider, your shorter, wider leaves, and then you have your longer, skinnier leaves. And so what I'm going to do now is we're going to put dimensionals on the backs of all of these. Whoop. Okay. And same thing, we want to use the minis, and you want to have them toward the bottom of the leaf where it's going to get tucked in underneath your flower. So we're going to put it on both sides of our leaf, because this part is actually going to adhere to this part, okay? But then we want to have this part attached to our flower. Hope that makes sense. And we can probably even use monoglue. Okay, so now we've got dimensionals on those. Let me put this on here. So now I'm going to bring my box back in. I'm going to bring the camera in just a little closer so you guys can see. Maybe that will help. Oops, sorry. Trying to knock my laptop off the table here. Okay, that might be just a little too... Sorry guys, hang tight. It's an adjustable thing, so sometimes it wants to move on its own and go in places you don't want it to go. Okay, so now I'm going to take the dimensional backings off of all of them, my flowers and my leaves. And stay tuned if you are ahead of me and put together your project quicker. We are going to have a drawing this month, and I want to just tell you a couple of things about that. One is for next month, and for the month of April, I am going to do something different with our drawing. We're still going to have our prize drawing giveaway, like I do at the end of my videos. The only difference is I'm giving you the option to have more chances to win. What? Well, how are we going to do that? Well, I'm going to tell you. So how we're going to do that is, one idea is, and this is for March and April, if you leave me a comment below my video, then that will give you another extra ticket to go in the drawing with your name on it. If you subscribe to my videos, that gets you another ticket. And then the other thing is, if you watch my videos within 1 week from when they've been uploaded, and you guys can watch them. So, something to keep in mind, it increases your chances of winning whatever the prize is. Just a little incentive for you, because come on, we like free things. And crafting products? Who doesn't want extra craft products? Tell me. I don't know anybody who does, but okay. So now I'm going to come in, so I'm taking one of my longer leaves, and I'm just putting a dab of glue right at the base of that. I'm going to come in with my shorter leaf, and what I'm doing is I'm going to kind of angle these a little bit. So my dimensional is going to be still on this side, so you're going to be able to just tuck those right in under. And so these guys are going to go right under this first flower here. Oh, a little glue on top because that's going to stick to the flower. There you go. And when you've got that right where you want it, go ahead and stick that down. And your dimensionals on the back, it's going to be attached to this Whisper White oval. Okay. And then you can go back and lift up your flower petals when you get it all done. I'll come in with this one over here. I'm going to do the same thing. Get a shorter leaf and a longer leaf. And this one, a little dab of glue on the top so that that sticks to underneath your flower. And then I'm going to take a shorter one. Same thing, little dab of glue. And you have your dimensional underneath that. That's going to stick out over here. Okay, and then one more flower. And I'm going to go ahead and just kind of gauge where, so I know the placement of where to put this flower. So I'm going to go ahead and stick this one on now and put a few dimensionals on the back of that. And I use big ones, so now you only want to have them on one side because you don't want them on the other end because you've already got this end is popped. So let me make sure I got the right one. Okay. It doesn't want to come off the sheet. There we go. Peel the back ends away off of that. Okay, and so now I'm able to, I'm going to line this edge up with the outside of my box. It's just at an angle there. Okay, and now I'm ready to put the last flower on. And I don't want to cover up my sentiment there, so that kind of allows you to see where that's going to go. And then the last leaf, dab of glue on the top so that it sticks underneath the underside of my flower. And the dimensional, so a little dab of glue. There we go. And then I'm going to just kind of fold up, lift up my petals there. And look at that. Isn't that fun? Okay, and then the last part is pearls inside the center of each of our flowers, and I see I'm missing one, so I must have lost one. Unless it's sticking to the bottom of my sleeve. You know, sometimes when you're crafting, things have a tendency to stick to you. I found it. It's on the other side. Look at that. Okay. So now I've got, now it doesn't want to, never a dull moment when you're crafting. Alright, so I'm going to take one pearl and just put it right in the center of that petal pink flower. And you're going to do that for all three of your flowers. Okay, and I see what the problem is. The adhesive is still on here. So I'm going to see if I can't stick this back on. And this is where, I don't know if you guys can see, I'm trying to pick up this tiny little pearl. So I might take your pick tool with the putty tip, pick that right up. So I'm going to place that back over the adhesive on the sheet and see if we can get that to stick. Maybe third time's a charm. Nope, it didn't come off. There we go, got it. Okay, so now we have our pearls and our boxes decorated. Super fun project. These are a lot of fun. And I mean, you can even give these away, say Mother's Day. I mean, so many occasions, so many. Graduations, all kinds of things. Just thinking about you and you know, treat someone to something. So there we go. We have our case projects, which is from the Stampin' Up! Celebration catalog. And this was a lot of fun. So for those of you who know me and are a kit subscriber, you guys know that I've been talking about this Pretty Perennial set for the last few months, and I really have not gotten sick of it yet. I don't know that I ever will, just because it's so versatile. There's so many different things you can do. And so, with that being said, the prize drawing giveaway, guess what? Gives you a chance to win Pretty Perennials DSP. So, what this is the Pretty Perennials, sorry, it's actually called something else. Paper Blooms DSP that coordinates with the Pretty Perennials and the Pierced Blooms. And so you get, each package has 12 sheets of 6x6, and you get 2 of each pattern. And so we're going to go ahead and draw for those. I've got my kit subscribers' names in my jar. And so we're going to see who the lucky winners are. I'm going to go ahead and move these out of the way. Okay, and I'm just covering this up so I can't see who the names are. So the first winner is Donna. Donna S. Congratulations. So you've just gotten some Paper Blooms DSP. And let's see who else we have here. One more. Let's see who's the lucky winner. Oh, Candy. So congratulations, you guys. You've won the Paper Blooms DSP. And March's drawing will have 3 prizes, and so I'm not going to tell you what they are. It's a surprise. But it will have three prizes to give away in March, and then 4 to give away in April. And so like I said, you can increase your chances of winning. One is leave me a comment below my video, and that will give you an extra ticket, basically, with your name to go in the drawing. And then if you subscribe to my videos, that gains you another ticket. And then the other one will be, if you watch my videos, once they've been uploaded, if you watch them within 1 week of them being uploaded, that will increase your chances. That will get you another ticket for the prize drawing. So let me know what you guys think, and tell me which of these projects was your favorite for February, because I love them all. It's really hard for me to pick, especially with this Pretty Perennials. Perfect time for spring too. I love these colors. Great color combination. Okay, thank you so much for crafting with me today. I hope you had fun, and if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me or leave me a comment in the video below the video, and I will get back with you. Happy crafting. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.